country. So if you want to stay at one place and you have to wait for a good offer, forget it.
Yeah.
Go immediately to a foreign country, learn something about the foreign country. One of the good example is Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Why is Silicon Valley so important? So we developed a recycling system. If you make a failure twice, you're stupid. You have to accept that something could happen what is unforeseen. Step is learn as much as you can.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Mind Mining Podcast. I'm incredibly excited to start this journey where we'll be delving deep into the mind's insights and experiences of experts who made a significant impact on their fields. This podcast is dedicated to share valuable lessons to young professionals, entrepreneurs, and even politicians. Today, I have a great honor of sitting down with someone who has seen how Europe implemented its blueprint in its transformation. I would love to introduce Professor Reiner. Hello, Professor Reiner.
Hello.
I would love to introduce you, but I think you're the one who can do it better.
So you want to introduce myself a little bit?
No. Okay, I can introduce you as well. Well, first I need to introduce myself. I'm your host, Otto Beck, and our guest here is Professor Reiner. He came here all the way from Austria, who started his career as a international production systems and all the way to the CEO and professor today. And that's not all. Now he's been working in Tashkent State University of Economics, where he has been teaching us, and now he wanted to share some of his experience and valuable knowledges with us. Yeah. By the way, I do have to mention the age of the professor is 85 years old, and that's why I said when I was introducing, he is one who has seen how Europe implemented its blueprint to transform to its shape right now.
Okay.
Okay, Professor Reiner, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much for being invited.
We're very happy to have you here. Will we directly start from the questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. When you were first starting out your career, what inspired you to pursue your path? How important is it to follow one's passion versus choosing a stable career?
That's a difficult question because, to be honest, I have never planned my career.
Oh.
But I would say, looking back to my career, the first step is very important, that you have a good education.
Oh, yeah.
What do I mean with a good education? I think young people have to accept that one topic of an education is not enough. So the best way to have two, and I have a technical education and a economic education. The combination has helped me through all my steps in industry and in teaching. So the next is when I finished my studies way back in 1968.
68. Oh,
68. That's a long time ago, and the time in 1968 were completely different because there was a huge demand of academics in industry, and when I remember when I had my final exam in the back of this exam room, the HR managers of the most important European industries were waiting for inviting us students to come to them and to offer them good jobs.
oh,
I think one of the ingredients of being successful in the career is that you are flexible.
oh yeah.
Very flexible. That means if your job is moving, you have to move with your job, and not say, "Well, I think I stay better at home with mom and pop,
Yeah.
and enjoy Hotel Mama." But I enjoy the challenge of being abroad.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
The first move was from Austria to the Netherlands. For those who are not familiar with the geography of Europe, Austria and the Netherlands are about 1,000 kilometers apart from.
Yeah.
And the original plan was to stay there 2 years, but the real duration was 10 years.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot, and the first step in my business life was a very big, one of the biggest industries in
Philips, right?
in the Netherlands, Philips industry, and Philips was a huge electronic company. So I started to start loving material supply.
Ah,
And this was a very good choice, by the way, because material supply, every firm needs to buy something, and every firm needs to transport finished products to customers. But not every company needs to export.
yeah.
So therefore, the choice to be in a career path of using the material supply and the global sourcing was a good one. And the technical basic and the basis and the economic basis helped me a lot.
Oh, yeah. I see your experience is mostly connected with technology in Philips, Xerox, Airbus.
Yeah, I later switched from material supply to production, where I was responsible for producing copy machines for Xerox, and that was a huge business because we produced about 1,000 to 1,200 machines per day.
Oh,
So I was responsible for about 2,500 workers, and for development of the most efficient production systems at this time. Yeah. So what you can't imagine nowadays is in these days we had no computers.
yeah.
And we had no internet. And what we had is telephone and telefax. Nobody knows anymore what telefax is, but it worked very well. And when I was working for Xerox, the first Xerox copies were developed. So we could transmit pictures and writing and sketches via telephone, which was slow, but it worked.
Yeah.
And the first computer came up much later. So they came up in workable computers in the 80s.
Ah.
So I gained some more experience in production when I switched to the aircraft industry. Airbus,
which is very well known.
Airbus is very well known. It's now the DASA. DASA was the headquarters in Toulouse, in France. But the Airbus project was a success project. Airbus was the first company that developed so-called wide-body aircrafts with only 2 engines. And these aircrafts were transporting people to much lower costs than the conventional aircrafts. They had less passenger capacity, and they needed at least 3 to 4 engines, which were, of course, more expensive than the new developed Airbus series. Yeah. And I was head of the production in a company that belonged to Airbus in Augsburg, in southern Germany, and we had the most modern factory in the world. Yeah, it was almost a fully automated factory. We are talking now about Industry 4.0. But we had in these times, and I'm not talking about 1978, 79, we had industry, I call it as a joke, 3.8. The remaining 0.2% are owned to the slow computers we had in these times. So if we would have had the real-time processing computers that we have nowadays, then we would have had 4.0 in these times already.
Oh, yeah.
So Industry 4.0 is nothing what is completely new at this time. So the pre-work was done years ago. Yeah, from then I switched to a CEO position, and I left production, and I left material supply, and I was responsible for a whole company.
Oh, yeah. And bakery machines producing company? I
was the head of bakery producing machines, and this was located in Vienna.
Yeah.
And we produced bakery machines for the production of small bakery products, so rolls, for instance, bagels, for instance, and similar products. And our market was especially Europe, where the countries Switzerland, Germany, northern part of Italy, Hungary, Austria, where we eat still a lot of bread. But we had also big customers in the United Kingdom, in Australia, and even in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what you learned, that was the fifth step or the fourth step, and I didn't count that.
Yeah, it was. After that, you started at welding robots.
Yeah. I was talking in the very beginning about flexibility. So I was flexible, and fortunately my wife as well. So in total, we moved 14 times. So we changed 14 times our homes. And that is necessary if you want to be successful in industry. So if you want to stay at one place and you have to wait for a good offer, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. Yeah. Then the next step was then welding robots. That was a company close to Vienna. And we developed welding robots for heavy-duty industries. So our main customers were Caterpillar, for instance, Komatsu in Japan and in was it Japan or Korea? I think it was Korea. And shipyards, large shipyards, they used our welding robots. And we developed a new field when we entered the automotive business.
Oh.
The automotive business was Volkswagen.
Oh, yeah.
So we developed a special robot for welding sound spots in the body of for Volkswagen.
Oh, yeah.
Sound spots in the body of a car could destroy the car.
What made your robot stand out is that it had six.
We had the 6 joint.
Oh, yeah.
Famous 6 joint, which is if I showed it by the hand, that is by moving a hand.
Yeah.
And this enabled the robot to find welding spots which were hidden within the car, in the body of the car. So in the wheel chamber and in the back, difficult to access for the available robots from the competitors.
Yeah. Talking about the global perspective and opportunities, you've had a global career working in Europe, Asia, right, and beyond. How important is it?
In the United States.
Oh yeah, in America as well.
In the United States, in Great Britain, in Germany, in Europe, in the Netherlands. In the beginning of my career, yes.
The question is, how important is it for young people to think globally?
Very important. So I would advise all the young people, after they have studied, go immediately to a foreign country, learn something about the foreign country. Because if you start to have a family, then it'll become more and more difficult. Especially if your wife has a job, you have a job, the kids are on school. So who is giving up?
Yeah.
So if the man's job is deciding for the career, so the wife has to give up. And the kids have to be prepared to go to different schools.
Yeah.
So that is not easy. But I have learned in the Netherlands, by the way, many families are doing that.
Oh.
So that wasn't an issue if you stay within the company. So Philips have moved their managers across the world, really. I didn't enjoy that, so I had to change the company. But even Xerox did the same, and they moved me to the United States and brought me back to the Netherlands. So to gain experience, especially in other cultures, is extremely important.
Yeah. What opportunities do you see for youth in emerging economies like Central Asia? How can they position themselves for success in a globalized world? I mean, you're the one who has experienced when the Europe was emerging.
So why are some areas more successful than others in the world? So one of the good example is Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Why is Silicon Valley so important? And why is Silicon Valley so successful compared to other hotspots in Europe? I think one of the big advantages of the American business is that they have a combination. They work together with universities. They work closely together with suppliers, and they don't do all the development work in-house. So they subcontract development to specialists, to suppliers. They subcontract basic research to universities. And the universities are willing to share their knowledge, even though they are not ready with the final development. So they have developed 80%, and they say in the United States, 80% is enough. We will manage 20% that is left. So speed to market is the key, not to have a 100% guarantee that the development is working.
Happened with Xerox. They were the first ones entering in printing machines.
They were the first one in copying machines.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the copy machines were developed towards the end. But the copy machines had a patent that couldn't be copied during the running time of the patent. So the patent, the time that a patent is protected is about 18 years. At least it was in these times, and nobody could copy the patents of or surpass the patents of Xerox. So patents, the Xerox was the only company in the world that were able to copy on plain paper.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a big advantage. And they, by the way, they had a very interesting business concept. So they didn't sell the machines, they sold copies. So that has consequences, because who was the owner of the machines? The owner was not the customer, but the owner was Xerox, was still the producer. So we were able to remove the machines back to the production areas and reconstruct the machines and tear down the machines, clean the machines, refurbish the machines, repair the machines, and send them back to the customer. So if the customer would have been the owner, you can't do that easy.
Yeah.
So we developed a recycling system, and that was in the 70s. So nobody was talking about recycling, and we had a recycling system, a quite well working recycling system, because we said a machine had at least 4 lives before it was then scrapped. And even for the wear and tear products, we call that consumables. So the printing drums. The printing drums were aluminum drums, and these drums were coated with a semiconductor. And we reworked these drums 4 times or 5 times. So we reused the aluminum and we reused the semiconductors. So that was very environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were the pioneers who tried recycling.
We were really the pioneers for recycling, in industry.
Yeah.
But the reason for that is that our business system was not to sell machines, but to sell copies.
Yeah. The next question is, many young people feel uncertain about the future due to automation and AI. How can they prepare themselves for the challenges and opportunities these changes bring? I remember the last year when you were teaching us procurement and logistics, you were using your MacBook, and we had some calculations during the lecture. You taught me some formulas on Excel.
Yeah.
Despite your age, you were keeping up very well with the technology.
I'm interested in the technology.
Yeah. But you didn't know that these technologies would come. So
I told you that when I started in business, we had no computers.
Yeah.
When the first computers came up, I entered courses to learn about the computer, to learn to program computers. So when the first iPhone came on the market, I need to be one of the first that had one. even though they were not available in Europe, somebody brought me an iPhone from the United States. So when the first Macs came on the market, I had one.
Yeah.
Because I considered the Mac as much more comfortable than the Microsoft computers. So I'm still a lover of Mac. Okay, so but it's more or less learning by doing, and I'm keeping still up. So business life never ends, and you have to learn always.
Yeah.
So I'm learning from your students. I'm learning from other teachers. I'm learning from being here in Tashkent. So it's a hell of a difference if you would go to Tashkent for a holiday and you're working here. So you're in much closer contact with the people, and you learn the traditions and the food and the way that they are living. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So coming back to your question, flexibility is necessary for young people. And flexibility means also you are ready to move, and you're always ready to learn.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I do think that during your career, you had to deal with failures and resilience. You've had an extensive career filled with many success. Could you share time when things didn't go as they were planned, and how you dealt with it? What can young people learn from failure?
Failure is something normal. Failure is if you make a failure twice, you're stupid. But if you learn from your failure and you do it differently next time, you try you stand up and try it again in another way. That's okay. So if you don't make failure, then we don't try out something new.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So companies that say failure is really bad, and you never do this failure again, or you never try out something again, that is bad.
Yeah. What kept you motivated to keep going even in that failure times?
The chance to do it better.
The chance to do it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the chance to do it better. You can't plan everything. If you develop a new product, you can't plan everything. You have to accept that something could happen what is unforeseen. So the development time is longer. The features do not function so as planned. You don't have the experts, the necessary experts. So where do we get the knowledge from? But as a manager, you have to manage that, and you have to accept that there are risks in development. Take the risks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to mitigate the risks, yes, but accept that you have to take risks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
After such a diverse, successful career, what life philosophy do you live by that could be valuable for young people who are just starting their journeys?
I'm coming back to the beginning of this interview. Learn.
Yeah.
First step is learn as much as you can. And I hear many students, and they are telling me, I don't know why I'm learning this and this and this. I tell you something. When I was studying, I asked often myself this question. But later on, I recognized that almost 90% I could use in some way or the other. So you never know while you're studying, while you're learning, what is it good for. So there can be occasions in the later career that you need what you have learned. So what I'm missing with the young students now is basic skills that we had that we did something by hand, multiplying, calculating. So not using the computer, but estimating figures. So I see so many students, they use the computer for calculating. They have no idea what the outcome is. Could the outcome be right? Is it 30,000, 3,000, or 300,000? So because they have lost the ability to calculate in their head, what could the real output be? So learning means that you get experience. Use that experience to judge if you hear something. If you hear something, could that really be right? Use other sources to compare that. So be curious and be cautious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The next question is about leadership and personal growth. Many young people dream of becoming leaders in their fields. What qualities or habits do you think they should start developing now to prepare themselves for leadership roles in the future?
Funny question.
Oh.
Yeah, because can you learn leadership in theory?
No.
Yeah, you can read books about leadership, but the soft skills for leadership, learn to motivate people, learn to talk to people, learn to criticize people. How do you do that? That's a critical point. So how do you do that? So you learn that by train in practice. So the first leadership experience I got not in Philips, because I was starting my career there, but when I started my work at Xerox, I took over a group.
Oh.
The group of material supply employees, and I had to guide them. So setting goals, controlling goals, talking to the people, motivate the people, telling the people that the life is not over, the business life is not over after 5 o'clock. So it could sometimes it could be longer. What I try to tell my people is that I'm not looking for employees, I'm looking for entrepreneurs.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking for employees that taking their own decisions, and they're taking the risk for their own decision, and we're talking afterwards. So just try it. And that was a good decision, and that worked quite well. So that motivates people. It is easy that somebody tells somebody what he has to do. But if you say, hey, we have to reach that goal, find a way to do that.
Yeah.
That's quite a difference, and it's more motivating than anything else. So delegating. Delegating is the key word.
Sure. Oh, yeah. As an expert of manufacturing and logistics and technology, what will change? What trends should young professionals be aware of in that industries?
That's a good question. If I would have a reliable crystal ball, I could give you a safe answer. But to be honest, if I look now at the development in IT, in big data management, in artificial intelligence, in ChatGPT, and so forth and so on, I can imagine some applications, yes, but I can imagine what robots will do in future. So I would say, yeah, we will lose some jobs, but we will create a lot of others.
Oh, yeah.
So here again, we are at the flexibility. If you are a lawyer and you have to study many cases from the past, big data could and artificial intelligence could take that over.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. But can you replace an electrician?
Oh, no.
Can you replace a plumber?
No.
No. Yeah, you can. Can you replace mass production? In some way or the other, yes. But on the other hand, we are individuals. Do we want to have a mass product, or do we want to have an individualized product, a customized product? We want to have the customized one.
Yes.
So could artificial intelligence help us in production systems to produce such things? Yes. Yeah. So using these new technologies wisely will create jobs rather than to kill jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to open for the jobs and not try to keep them away.
Oh, yeah, surely.
So don't be afraid, use them.
Yeah. Which we are doing there in the university.
Yeah, are you really? If I'm looking to the classrooms, I have my doubt that you use them.
What about the written reports of written exam reports? Do you think that they're writing it on their own?
You mean exams?
Yeah, while checking them.
I don't tell you my secrets how I detect whether I have used ChatGPT, but there are ways to detect whether ChatGPT has been used. I would say ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT because it's very useful and it's very how should I say? It saves a lot of time, because if I want to have a structure for some lecture, I use GPT.
Yeah.
But to fill the presentation, to fill the lecture, then I'm not using ChatGPT. ChatGPT just giving you conservative answers, general answers, but not specific answers. So in case of exams, if you ask some specific things for a case, for instance, ChatGPT will give you a general answer, but not a specific answer for this case.
Yeah.
So, and you can detect very easily if you get a general answer or you get a real answer for this question.
Oh, yeah.
Asked.
Well, actually, we can detect it by the objectivity of the answer.
Right.
It's very objective.
Yeah. And by the way, in Uzbekistan, you can see it by the language, because ChatGPT gives you perfect English answer.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Young people are trying to learn English.
Yeah. But a foreign language, you always make faults and mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which reveal their use of ChatGPT.
Yeah. And so what?
All right. Do you believe that there are industries or sectors that will see significant growth in the next 10 or 20 years?
Yes.
That will young people should consider?
I think robot industry, at the battlefield, for instance.
Oh.
Which is a bad development, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
Robots will fight against robots, not humans against humans.
Yeah.
But the positive way, I think there are positive developments and rapid developments in healthcare, servicing people, disabled people, for instance, serving robots. I've seen a serving a robot in a restaurant.
Oh,
The robot came along with the dishes, and they removed the dishes after having dinner as well.
oh yeah.
So yeah, why not?
Yeah, as you said, they took the waiter's job, but they created the job for engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So, well, there will be always restaurants where the waiter is necessary, the more exclusive restaurants.
Oh yeah.
But the fast food restaurants,
Oh yeah. They don't need it.
they don't. Do they really need a waiter? No.
No. Yeah.
So what will be replaced is you don't have to pick up the goods at the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're getting it served.
Yeah.
I see it in medicine. I see robots doing surgery, and maybe better than a surgeon. Or a robot is being controlled by a surgeon that is far away. So the specialist is sitting in the United States.
Oh yeah.
The surgery happens in Uzbekistan.
Like in emergency situations where
for instance. So there I see a big field of robots, or IT, big data, artificial intelligence, in the field of lawyers, even doctors, because a normal doctor has access to the cases that are happening in the surrounding
Oh yeah.
of his working place. But if you are able to compare similar ways to cure diseases worldwide,
Oh
which you can do if you have access to data banks
yeah.
where these cases are filed, then the chance of curing diseases is much higher.
Yeah. Surely.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that as a challenge, not as a threat.
Oh yeah. What industries doesn't exist in Central Asia that exists in Europe? I mean, what industries could young entrepreneurs or the youth of this region can?
Uzbekistan is very rich in natural endowments and the minerals and agricultural product. But what happens to them? So you export the raw materials to friendly neighbors, inclusive Russia, and these are transferring these products into semi-finished and final products. So you are at the status of an emerging or developing country.
Oh yeah.
And you have to change that, because the added value is not in agriculture. The added value is in finished products.
Oh yeah.
So harvesting cotton is nice, but making the ready fabric, or even the suit, or the apparel, or the clothing is much better.
Yeah.
So switching over from selling natural natural resources to others, to selling finished products to others. And therefore you need industries, and therefore you need knowledge, and therefore you need universities and corporations. So the more you cooperate with Western industrialized countries, the better it is for you.
Oh yeah. Surely.
So, and you have to take care that you suck the knowledge from them and try to copy the knowledge, like the Chinese are doing that successfully.
rather than learning it on our own.
Rather than to sell the raw materials to others.
Oh yeah, surely.
And let them do the job.
So you're saying is the youth in Uzbekistan or entrepreneurs in Uzbekistan should be focusing on manufacturing.
On finished product, yes, on manufacturing, because all what you see here are products. So the benefits are coming from products or services. Of course, it's easier to start with benefits. For instance, the easiest way is to increase the tourism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So building hotels and increasing the transport is relatively easy. But to build cars, for instance, and to build medical products, that needs to know a lot about technologies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So therefore, you need partners and you need universities.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the best way is to have the combination of universities producing and service offering companies with suppliers at one place together.
Yeah. Do you remember at the university we were talking about foxes and hedgehogs? The hedgehog that knows one thing very well, and the fox that knows everything at a needed level. Mm-hmm. For example, you, have interest and knowledge about technology, but at the same time, macro and microeconomics. Can you tell your opinions to our audience as well?
You mean what is better, to be a fox or a hedgehog?
Yeah, I mean...
You need both.
Yeah, I mean, you managed to mix your two skills and take one.
Let me try to answer that in the following way. I started as a hedgehog.
Oh.
I learned a lot about material supply. And I widened that knowledge by changing the company, because Philips had a certain way to serve the customers in the world, and Xerox had another way to do that. So this was learning by doing.
Oh yeah,
and entering some courses. So I became a certain specialization in material supply and in purchasing. When I moved to the managerial level, I was forced to learn managerial skills as well. So you're losing some of the skills in material supply. I love it still. But more important was to get experience in soft skills and hard skills in managerial things. Okay? So I think it's the normal way if you climb up a career ladder that you get in leading positions, that you have knowledge of many things, not of everything. But, I increased my knowledge in law. I increased my knowledge in sales. I increased my knowledge in services, and so forth and so on, in handling people. Yeah. So I became more and more a fox.
Yeah, actually, everything you've been teaching us at the university was from your original experience, right?
Yeah, because the lecture was it production, procurement, and logistics.
Logistics.
So that was the very beginning.
Yeah.
For me. So and this accompanied me three quarters of my business life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So a long time.
Yeah, I see.
So even as a manager and as a CEO, it's good to have a specialty. So if I was talking to customers, if I was talking to suppliers and to logistic providers, I enjoyed my knowledge.
Yeah.
So because I was discussing on eye level with these people.
Oh, yeah.
And that is very important. That's another point. Try to, if you discuss, if you negotiate, try to do that on eye level.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that on eye level, you have less knowledge than your partner, the opposite of the table. What happens to you? So you are the loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have to give in. So do you want to do that? Then sit at this side of the table. Yeah. If you don't want to do that, send somebody else who has the knowledge.
Oh yeah. Our questions ended here.
Oh. What is the time now? So we were talking almost an hour.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I didn't expect so many questions. It was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Before wrapping up, before we end, Professor, if you could give one final message to the youth in Central Asia, what would it be?
Be curious.
Be curious. Yeah.
Be open to anything new. And don't be afraid to try out something new.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for participating in this podcast.
Good.
And
I hope my answers will help.
Yeah, and find the people who need it.
Okay.
Really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope to see you in our other episodes of podcasts in December. Is that you're coming again?
I'm coming again in beginning of December. Yes.
Yeah.
Teaching another subject, not teaching you anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because you're still in the third semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have the first semester, I guess, in December.
To the second courses, right?
I have export.
Oh yeah.
So do you remember the Uppsala model?
Oh yeah, I remember.
That was the first semester.
Yeah, first semester last year.
First semester, yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So I have your colleagues from the first semester.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure for me.
Pleasure for me as well.
And much success with your other interviews.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm exhausted.
Really?
No.